and quickly look at 3 or 4 more of the names that God reveals to the people. There was a passage we read last Sunday that says that I revealed myself to some people as this, but I didn't reveal myself to some people as this. When you meet me, say I'm the walker, say, so when you hear the name of God, it tells you what God has done, who God is, and how God really behaves. And so today we want to quickly look at 3 people. Actually, I want to look at one name that came in 3 forms. One name, it came in 3 forms. God is so interesting, and all of us are children of God, but God doesn't speak to us in the same way. All of you too have children in your house. You don't speak to all your children the same. Some of your children, you need to shout at them before they understand you are talking to them. And some of them, you need to talk to them gently. That is how God is. So, God revealed himself to Abraham as El Shaddai. But God did not reveal himself to Moses as El Shaddai. God revealed himself to Moses as something else. That's what we're going to look at. He said, my name, that's my name. I didn't reveal it to the people. I kept it. And he revealed that name only to Moses. So today we want to look at, so last week we talked about El Shaddai, and we said El Shaddai is the all-sufficient one. I said God doesn't need anybody's help. God has everything. God doesn't need anybody to exist. I need God to exist. For me to survive, I need God. For me to live this meaningful life, I need God. But you see, for God, he doesn't need any of us. Sometimes some of us get confused when we talk about the sufficiency of God. When we come to church, some of us feel that God needs our offerings to survive. It's not true. God doesn't need the monies. When God says, bring me tithes and offering, God doesn't need your tithes and offering to survive. He needs them to bless you. So God is all sufficient. He alone can live by himself. He alone is God. Then the next name I want to show to you is this beautiful name, I am. Everybody? Everybody? And can we please read Exodus chapter 13? Exodus chapter 3, sorry. Exodus chapter 3. This is where this name was first mentioned in the Bible. Exodus chapter 13. I'll try and exactly 10 to 9, we should be winding up. By 9 o'clock, we should be going out of this place so you can go and have some rest. Exodus. Okay. If you are there, you can open verse 13 and 14. Mose woman so mienu etre miensa chichemu du miensa ani du nine atowa bia pii na kan pii no because brofo no ba screen so yes na Mose bisa Nyankopon say na se du Israel fo nchen na me ka kire won say Mona nanu Nyankopon asoma me ha na Israel for do bisa me say ni awasoma wo re friend say send na me say what should I say? You know, and last week we catch them said that question said when they asked me of my name, what should I say? That question, it was an authentic question because Israel, Moses a Jew and he know how the Israelites are. They want to know what your name is, to know what you have done. They want to know how you are like. So when Moses can say, what should I say to them? What's your name? Tell me your name. You are God. Yes, you are sending me. So tell me your name. And then I mean can't travel. And I was saying that when Moses asked the question, he was asking God, who are you? How are you like? And what have you done? Who are you? How are you like? And what have you done? And last week, we tried to establish the response he says God gave to Moses. God said, I am the God of your ancestors. When Jamunya Kopon enemy. Now I see, how are you like? And he said, I am eternal. Then when he asked, what have you done? Then he said, I have heard the cries of my people and have seen their affliction and have come to save them. So Moses went on, you guys, I know you have done this, but tell me your name with the accounting training. And what did God say, your helpful? And God said, look, and God only see. Only see Now see. Send your catcher Israel for the year. Miara and a masma war. Miara, I will read this properly. Miara and a masma. Masma. Miara and Asma Mimosi Mountain. And so he said that if you want to know my name is Miara. This is a name of God. This is the name God gave to Moses when Moses insisted that he knows who he was sending him, so that he will get something to tell the people, the Israelites in Egypt. Can we go to the screen, please? Now, the name I am is the name that God introduced himself to Moses. And this name comes in three folds. And I'm going to deal with the three this evening. So these are the three names that God used in this passage. And the name is I am. Can you say it together? I am. And the key is Miara. It's a very simple name. God is what, in that name, what God was saying to Abraham, to Moses, was that he is what you think he is. Do you understand what I'm saying? God is what you think he is. God is what you see him to be. God is what or who you think he is. It means that if you see God as a God who is weak, who is feeble, and who cannot do anything, then God will be like that for you. If you also see God as a big God who can do everything and who is all powerful and who can save you, then he will save you. Now, what it therefore means is that our perception about God is crucial. The way we see God and the way we relate to God, the way we see him is equal to the way we relate to him. You know, in our country, Ghana, Ghana, and who I see, say, Abaima Obi appointment. They are say, we are Christian now, we are Cramoni. No, see, we are Cramoni. Now I'm on the Quran. No, see, or the Quran can't tell. Obi say me a Christian na man ba kofi wa yisi there yamma say enuntina Bible ni Quran na yedi ma mpedifo no ekantan no. That is the reason why they get into office and they corrupt the office. Now his challenge was this: yamma nkrofo enfa akono di nkantan. You know, I see also by the minister yamma unfa Antoine Amwa enkantan. You see what I mentioned, and then you are all going backwards. Why? Because you see Antoine Yamo as a kind of God. Right? He is a God. And so because we see Antoine Yamo as a God who doesn't joke, we don't joke with him. You know what I'm saying? Now look at this very carefully, and I want you to have a mental picture. So God said to Moses, go and tell the Israelites, I am what they think I am. Or I am who they think I am. Anytime God employs this name, it means that the bigness or the smallness of God depends on how you see him. Now, reason why people sit in the same church. Miracle takes place in the same church. Some people get miracles and some people don't get miracles. Sometimes it is determined by the way the people see God. Your view of God. I have always said this and I'm going to say it again. Nobody can see beyond his level of perception. Why you cannot see God do, God will never do for you. And that is the reason why some people run to other places and look for protection. Even there are pastors who run to other people and they seek for protection. Can you imagine? How can you have El Shaddai? How can you have El Shaddai as your God? But when you are in trouble, you run to somebody for help. It tells you how the people look at God. Now, in Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20, it tells us, it gives us an idea. Ephesians says, now unto him who is able, can you read it for me? God is what or who we think he is. And that is a very important statement. Let me tell you, many of us has made God small. And that is why God has become so small in our lives. The moment we begin to make God big, God will become big for us. We have made God, and so that is how we experience God. Sometimes people will ask us, why is it that in the Presbyterian church, Presbyterian, sometimes it is not the church, it is the people. It is the people's perception of God. It is the way the people see God. It is the way the people understand who God is. So God said, go and tell the Israelites that I am. I am. Can you please read Ephesians for me? And this, as we go through this journey, I really want you to take your time and think about the names of God. I am. I am. I am. Yes. Now, you see, the correct rendering of this passage is unto him. You see, and Paul was using the name I am. He is referring to a God whose name he will not want to mention. God is only able to do exceedingly abundantly according to how we are able to imagine. Our imagination is equal to God. Let me tell you, it is a mistake for a Christian to see a problem and magnify the problem above God. It is a big mistake, because no problem is beyond God. For with God, all things are possible. And all things means all things. It is a mistake for you to think, say, it is a mistake to have that mentality. It is wrong on your side to think that our God can't do it. The moment you don't think like that, you limit God. Have you not read? Jesus went to a city. Yes, you call Kobimu. Now, Bible says, or call Kobimu, one to me, I am saying, every say, a crop for to say, so they refused to see him as God. They saw him as a neighbor. And because of that, he could not, the Bible said, he could not perform miracles. It means that for a miracle to happen, your perception is crucial. This evening, how do you see God? So the name I am a name that says that God is who you think or what you think God is. If you think God is so small and God cannot solve your problem, he will leave you like that. And you will suffer with your problem. Nobody knows the trouble I face. Nobody knows my sorrow. You know what I'm saying? That is some people sing. Or how I if you don't see God as a God who can help you, you will never have help coming from anywhere. Look at David. He said, my help comes from Jehovah. Now, if you see God as a powerful God, so shall he be unto you. If you see God as a powerful God, so shall God be unto you. Now, if you study very carefully John Gospel chapter 4, Mami na ko share Yesu what was you down no. Mami na ko share Yesu no. Oni Yesu Kristo ko mo no. Yesu ka say bi kire. Yesu ka kire say, "Mo die, o si, oba na si, ye ja no si, ye so mo people eso. O si mo si ye go so wo Jerusalem." Yesu ka say bi kire. O si, "Mo so nia mo nimu." You worship what you do not know. It means knowledge of who you worship is crucial to your object of worship. It is so important to your worship life itself. And so, Jesus said, you worship what you do not know. And because you don't know what you are worshiping, you do it biara biara. Now, what Jesus said in John chapter 4, verse 21 to 24, he's saying that because you don't know who you worship, you think that he could be confined by geographical location. That's what it means. I'll see. As I said, I am say, I have one in the story. I used to see very bad. I'm really say, I would keep no, or soon on Yami, I was soon in no crane. I yes, one kasa say, already, my understanding of who God is so crucial. Can we read the Jeremiah passage? Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 23, 24. Very powerful. You worship what you do not know. Do you know the God you worship? Nyamia, do you know him? Do you know the God you worship? Knowledge of God. Do you know the God you worship? Because I am talking about the God whose name is I am. Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 23. Jeremiah 9:23. Listen, anytime you hear the Bible, you and maybe every time Bible, now what you say, I'll see Senator this year, no, as it turns said, no kunu nekai, and you so from nekai, and Radian Kasa no kai. Senator Radian Kasa see ko. And now when answer for Asia shed one in answer, ko. Now I want them for shed one that won't dim ko. And ma or the force she shed one hour now who she nyama or ko. I see so we she shed one. Ye no go of a shed and never here. So idea on them day ko. Say on your day, no homie, yes. Say many a or your idea. Can we read from this place? He says, look at verse 23. Thus says the Lord. Look at verse 24. But let him that glory in this, that he understands and knoweth me. He understands and knoweth me. He understands and knoweth me. It is very important, and it didn't end there. And God knoweth me that I am the Lord. That I am the Lord. And look at the way they have translated the Lord there. You see that the Lord in capital letters. You see that? That is the way it is translated, and that is the original. So it says, I am the Lord, which exercises loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For this is the things I delight in, says the Lord. This is how God introduces himself. See, boast that you know. Knowledge of God or knowledge of who God is will cause a spontaneous love for him. The more I know God, the more I love him. The more I love him, the better I serve him. Let me tell you, if you sit in a plane with Obama, and you don't know that this is Obama, sometimes you could sit with him and then you will even sleep on his shoulder, right? And you don't care. But the moment you get to know that is Obama, you will see it as if you are in a target. Why? Knowledge. You know him. And that is why he's saying that we need to have knowledge of God. Knowledge of God. Can you take me to the next slide? Our perception of God is crucial to our blessing. And Shira, the one, it's connected to our perception of God. That is why God said, I am. Go and tell them I am. If they believe that there is somebody called I am who could do a miracle, I will be a miracle unto them. Now, what it therefore means is that your level of revelation of God defines your level of commitment to God. Daniel 2:32. Your level of revelation. Okwanya uhu nyame no. Okwanya uhu ti nyame ase no. Okwanya nyame da ne wadi kire wo no. Enu ene kire senia ohu fama etie. If you know God more and you come to church and you come to serve in the church and you were not appreciated, it will not bother you. You won't care. Why? Because you know him better. So when people are being called and being applauded and being clapped for and being praised, you don't care. True people who know God are people who are there to praise of men. Our level of knowledge, revelation. Listen. And then the question I'm asking with this: how do you know your God? I told you this story. I've said it several times, and Auntie Gladys is here, and she knows I've said it in my church in Ghana before. I was invited to somebody's 10 years anniversary in Cape Coast to preach there. It was a big program, charismatic church, and you know, they gave me an hotel. They gave me a hotel to sleep in, and somebody picked me from the hotel, the church. So I got to the place on Monday like afternoon. Then the pastor introduced the guy to me. Said, "This is the guy who will come and get you, take you to the church. Then after church, will bring you back." And it's my fine man. And so he was like, the guy was close to me. Monday night, when I got there, I went for lunch. After lunch, he took me to the hotel. I went to sleep. Then in the evening, he came to pick me to church. When I got to their church, we do as well dynamo. You see the way we do our posters? That is exactly how it is. Entrance, me bana kakra kana ho. Me picture das. Me ti das kakra. Na a program na here no. Say you Philippi kakra na photo das. Me preach kura na photo da. Project aliso. So everything is Reverend Botchway. So Monday I preach in the evening. Tuesday I preach in the evening. Wednesday I preach in the evening. Friday I preach in the evening. Saturday we had a dinner. In fact, Saturday we had 2 programs. Saturday we had a candlelight procession in the morning, like a kind of picnic. Or something when you Ghana for picnic, like a procession. Now Obi had t-shirts, now Obi had dressing fine, and they were giving out flyers. Flyers. Now flyer no meeting the dash. Now I'm telling you something. Then omoya dinner dance. E nyina ko di ti die. Ati kwese da no pa. Abranti e ba so ba be fam no madam correct one. And the offering of a friend, one friend is and the time when the bump to say, hey, Adachi. And they were doing 2 services. I was having quite a young sorry no. We beard and Michelle, we don't run about in the care. See, hey, you're right, and we are fast as I see it. And every time we catch up with the so about my party. No, because of my school, let's go to the chair. Then I quickly went to the car, sat in the car, then he drove the car fast. You do a sorry down, you do one. Now, someone here in the gate now came. Someone were inside. It was time for me to preach in the morning. And someone here catch them and say, me see and look at them say, dog back who want to me found sorry down. And so I was quickly going to the sorry down. And this usher, at that gate, I say, go for me do her. I'll catch them and say, I'm sorry, I had here. Go back after 8 2nd service. The usher told me that. And I said, really? I said, yeah. And you know what the usher did? She gave me a seat. But the usher didn't. I said, a porch. And I sat on the chair. And where I was sitting like this, directly on my head, was my poster. One week revival. My name, Reverend Erigoto, with my picture. And the sister was telling me, we a new person will have. I say, oh, and I want me to see with you. And now, you're not supposed to be playing cry. Oh, yeah, dear. And I was sitting there. Come on. And you know, I didn't want to say anything. And the pastor's wife, so for you know, who said, Mama. And you are going to say, Mama. And you also came and said, I'm preaching. I want your legs. Sister, listen, meet me with it. Because I'm ready to see. Over 8 times, but in 2nd service. No, need to people. Not all preaching, so could catch them. He was preaching the pastor to me. Seriously! And I sat there and the lady was telling me that, oh, and you want me to see, and but when I got tips, not seeing, or something like that, and whilst we were talking, and the pastor's wife came, see, Reverend, we are waiting. I see, oh, I said, sister said, I cannot attend the 1st service. I cannot attend the 1st service. I said, what? Then I got up. I mean, then I went and preached. After the service, somebody really get by some park job. You see, don't beg me. God taught me a lesson. That experience, I will never forget in my life. Never ever. You know what? It is possible to sing about somebody you don't know. It is possible. It is even possible to preach about somebody you don't know. That's what God told me. I don't know if you catch that. And that is why knowledge of who we worship is important. Very, very important. So this guy was praising me and I was sitting there. She couldn't recognize me. And she was talking about me like she has stayed with me for years. But I was sitting there. The same person she was talking about, the same person. Knowledge. So let he that will boast that he knows and understands. Your knowledge of God, your understanding of God is crucial to your journey as a Christian. Do you understand? Your level of commitment. Everything A to Z, it depends on your knowledge of God. So that is why I'm saying the Bible says in Daniel chapter 11 verse 32. Daniel 11 32. I'll see. Daniel 11 32. I'll see. They that know their God. Is that 11 32 or 32 11? Is that what you have on the screen? It says that they that know their God, they shall be strong and do exploit. 11:32. And it says, and such as do wicked against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God they shall be strong. They shall be strong. They shall be strong. And they will do exploits. So, knowledge of God makes you strong. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that is why God told Moses, said, Miara. That is my name. Now, I love this passage so much. Proverbs 11:29. Proverbs 11:9. It says, through knowledge shall the righteous be delivered. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. God is the truth. Let me tell you. The reason why people come to church, obi ba sorry. Na oba sorry one. Na people are the fool sorry. Na opofi. He come oba sorry now fine. Or ras sorry dama. No, we are sharing the food no opofi. The reason why sad things can happen to you is because of the knowledge of God. If you know Him and the devil is playing tricks on you, you know that I know you. You are the devil. You want to mess me up. So, the name is I am. Let me introduce. So, the name I am is a name of God that says that what you see me to be, that's what I am. Can I introduce you to the second name? Now, and this name is Yahweh. Everybody? Everybody? Everybody. Now, I don't know whether you have ever heard this word before. Tetragrammaton. Have you heard it before? Tetragrammaton, yami. You know, this is the unpronounced name of God. And anyway, in theology, you know, your friend of Tetragrammaton, it simply means the unpronounced name. Hashem. And I am saying that this is the name of God that defines His sovereignty as a holy God. Please read that passage for me. It defines God's sovereignty as a holy God. Yahweh. And because we see Him as a holy God, we are careful the way we even mention His name. You put so a Yamia or Kron, and the Yanipa, you won't see. Yet to be friendly, yet to be body. Can you please read Isaiah 43 for me quickly? Isaiah 43 verse 3. Isaiah 43 verse 3. Verse 3. For I am the Lord thy God, the only one of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for your ransom, Ethiopia and Saba for thee. Ricky, he will help us. Kanki. This is so beautiful. Now, me already me on Israel, Kroni, this is God Himself introducing Himself. He said, "Mini Israel, Kroni, I am the Holy One of Israel." Me Israel, Kroni, ko. Mini wuchefu, ko. Me di Israel, I actually am. But what God was saying is that I am a holy God. I am a holy God. It means that there are gods that are not holy. Let me tell you. Certain gods eat from the ground. Anyamini bi and different form. Anyamini bi and no every form. You know it? That is what we call the deity of the day.
of Israel. It means that this is a God. The name Yahweh is a name that defines, it describes God as a pure person. When Yamia a thing, and that is why Jesus said, the devil comes to me, he has nothing in me. I am a clean God, I am a righteous God. And so he says, this is the name that God himself will not defile. So I didn't wait. When and that is why what Psalm 23 verse 3 says, that he leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. It's said, God's name is so holy that if God decides not to lead you in the path of righteousness, then God will defile his name. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you here, church? Are you here? He says that he will lead you in the path of righteousness because of his name. Because if God refuses to lead you in the path of righteousness, it means God has disrespected his name. This is the name that is held in high esteem. I cannot wait to talk to you about the name in the New Testament. Yeshua HaMashiach. Holy name. Okay? That is why he said in Chronicles, if my people who are called by my name, do you understand? Say me Maria, you did me dean everyone. But brew was a crack. No woman pire at you stroke. Why? Not because they are holy, but because I am a holy God. And you know, if I